So today I am going to show you how to really use a mentor text to its full ability. You don't want to just read it and go, oh, that was nice. Instead, you really want to take advantage of what techniques you can take from it and then apply to your own writing. So today I'm going to model it with you concerning a story that is called, or an essay really, that's called They Don't Tell You About That. And it's by Olugbemisola Rhuday-Perkovich. And so what I'm going to do is read through each paragraph and I'm going to stop and decide what it is I notice and identify some of those characteristics. So when my mom was in a rehabilitation hospital, we had to label all of her clothes, her name in black Sharpie as though she were off at camp. I have one of her tops from those days, worn white cotton short sleeve, determinedly cheerful hearts in every color of the rainbow dotted all over. She wore that one a lot. Sometimes her skin was so sensitive that even the lightest fabrics hurt. That shirt has been in every one of my closets, packed and unpacked with each move, laundered and folded carefully, and pushed to the back corner. It's been years since my mom died. Okay, now this paragraph is something that I noticed because it's so short. So many times teachers tell you that an essay has to be 5 to 7 sentences or 3 to 5 sentences or this number on it. And while that is true for some academic essays, this is a narrative essay. And so you get to break those rules. This one-line paragraph jumps out to me as a reader. I'm also surprised because I realized that her mom died. And as that realization hits me as a reader, I feel some emotions. And I think that is what the author was trying to do. Something else that I noticed is that she has used a hook, starting off focusing on this t-shirt. I learned something about her and something about her mom by focusing on this object. So that could be something that you apply to writing your own narratives, is focusing on an object. I also noticed that as a reader, I'm intrigued because I don't know why her skin was so sensitive, and I don't know why she was in a rehabilitation hospital. So by having these little questions in my mind, it makes me want to continue reading. Going forward, it says, the other day I was thinking about organizing a memorial service, a tasteful celebration of her life, getting her gang back together. I'm good at coordinating. In the year after she died, I held many gatherings of friends and family at home, at the park, at the beach. I hugged everyone back. When I was in high school, I planned a surprise birthday party for her. It was an unqualified success. At least it seemed so. She appeared happy and surprised, and we all enjoyed the birthday rap performed by my classmate with perhaps more enthusiasm than talent. I could do a memorial. It's time, I thought. I've lost touch with so many of our friends from that life. I'll see them again. We'll reminisce, exchange contact information. They'll hug me and tell me how proud she'd be. I'll wear something muted and tasteful, and they'll tell me I look pretty even though we all know better. It could be nice. Appropriate, I thought. And then I cried. So I asked myself, what do I notice? Well, I notice again that we have this one-line paragraph, and it is kind of something that jumps out because she almost seems to be talking about something happy, a birthday party for her. She talks about how they sang and it was fun, and then if they do it again, they'll be hugging and we'll see each other again. And so it seems to be this kind of good, happy tone, and then the tone switches. And as the tone switches, the paragraph switches. And so that's what makes that jump out. Something else that I notice is the use of italics. And this seems to be a thought shot. So this is what she's actually thinking, and then she clarifies it with I thought. Sometimes writers are tempted to put those in quotation marks, but quotation marks imply that they're actually said out loud. So when you want it to reflect something that's actually in your head, you can just italicize it like she does here. I also noticed that we're talking about the memorial. She's including some specific memories, and the specifics do help. She's kind of showing me the time instead of just telling me we could have a good time or we did have a good time at the birthday party. I'm going to continue on and see what else I notice. Some days, years become minutes, like I'm shoved through a nightmare tesseract, and in an instant, I'm back in the hospital lounge, sitting cross-legged on a vinyl chair that's supposed to be comforting. But my mom just died, and I'll never be comforted again. I don't want to be mature or tasteful or make anyone proud. It's been years, and still I am shocked frozen. I want to crawl back in bed, pull the covers over my head, and cry. Real, ugly sobbing that doesn't care if it makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you uncomfortable. All right, what do I notice? I don't have a one-line paragraph this time. I do have this really cool simile, though, like I'm shoved through a nightmare tesseract in an instant, and I'm back in the hospital lounge. Tesseract is a word that most people aren't familiar with. This word reminds me of when I read A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And that is some kind of transporting time thing. So she talks about how years become minutes. So instead of it taking, even though it has been so many years, in an instant, she can flip back into that hospital. I'm assuming when she first found out that her mom died. And these specifics, sitting cross-legged, vinyl chair, those bring me back and I'm able to visualize her in that moment. So it creates kind of this snapshot. And I have another one again. Instead of just saying that she's shocked, frozen, she goes on to show us she wants to crawl back in bed, pull the covers over her head, and cry. And then she uses an M dash. This is a great punctuation mark. You use it all the time when you're typing, only you do it in a minus sign. You can use an M dash by going to insert special characters. And then if you type in M dash, it's this long dash right here. So you can't do that. Oh, it helps if you spell M dash correctly. And it comes up as the first one. Okay. So moving on, I noticed that punctuation mark, maybe that's something I can bring into my writing. She's showing these snapshots using the showing instead of telling. They tell you that time helps and heals, that you are blessed to have precious memories, that she loved you so much, and that they know how you feel. I'll probably say the same thing to someone one day. But sometimes those stupid, empty, meaningless words make me want to slap and scream because nothing helps. My mom is dead, do you understand? And even after all this time, I will pick up a book or trip on the sidewalk and that healed wound rips open and all the jagged edges hurt so much that I can't breathe. I don't even want to. So some things that I notice. First of all, I didn't notice until I read this all out loud that because this is such a long sentence, by the end of it, I have to take a breath. And I think that's really interesting because she ends saying, I can't breathe. And as a reader, neither could I. So it's wonderful when you can make your reader feel the same way that you felt. I also noticed this kind of bitter tone happening. And when a writer is able to convey such a strong tone, as a reader, I want to know, hey, how'd they do that? How can I do that? And I think this one is really the word choice. It seemed to become bitter a lot right here. And it's because of stupid, empty, meaningless words. She is not holding back. She is putting it very harshly. It makes me want to slap and scream. Those words create that bitter tone. And do you understand is kind of this sassy attitude. She is not sugarcoating anything. And by having this word healed in quotes, it kind of implies that there's this irony, like it's supposed to be healed and it's obviously not. And then those jagged edges, again, that kind of creates that bitter tone with her word choice or diction, means the same thing. And then we have this one-line paragraph. They don't tell you about that. And again, this stands out because it's a paragraph all on its own. And the they, I think, is referring to all the people who tell you that it will get better. All the people that say that she'll love you and I understand how you feel. They don't tell you that at some point it's going to come right back and feel like it was just yesterday. Something else that I notice, that's the title. So many students struggle with a title and they just want to put like narrative essay as the title. Be creative and pull something from your piece. Some students are tempted to pull the title from the very first line, but that doesn't really create any kind of surprise. When you pull it from the middle or maybe even the end, then as a reader, we can make that connection, and readers like to make connections, to feel like they figured something out. After my mom died, I signed up for the writing course at a university where she taught. It was a class in creative nonfiction, or maybe journalism. I don't remember. I wrote listless, lackluster assignments and rarely spoke in class. My final assignment was titled, I Don't Want to Write About My Mom. It was probably terrible, too. I don't remember. I do remember my professor catching up to me, eyes brimming with concern after I'd turned it in. I remember his glasses, his beard. Maybe he said he was sorry for my loss. I was angry at myself, at him, at writing, for not being able to help like it was supposed to. Okay, so what I notice. I've noticed a repetition of words. She says, I don't remember. She says, I don't remember. I do remember. So that sticks out to me. I also notice that she has some specifics again in her class. She says, I do remember the beard. I do remember his glasses. And so that sticks out to me as a writer instead of saying, I do remember the professor. So specifics really help. I hope that this has given you a chance to see how, as a writer, I read pieces that I'm trying to